win, obviously you need to know all the rules. We'll be looking at some of the rules about playing the global financial system in a minute. So, to start off with, it's just a game. No point getting upset if obviously you start losing. Their plan is to take you for every penny you've got. Once you actually learn to know once you actually learn the rules, your plan is then to stop them. Okay, and we'll be explaining a little bit later on about strategies for playing this game. Your token to play the game. Right, so the token in Monopoly, that's my favourite one, it's always the racing car. But you've also got the shoe, you've got an iron, you've got a few other sort of tokens. Does anyone know what we'll do? You got a ship, yeah, the old battleship. Right, you also need a token to play the game, to play the global financial system, or the global commerce system. Now, has anyone got any credit cards on them? Right, can I ask if anyone got a credit card on them to take them out for a moment, please? I'll just get the machine to swipe. If you can hand them up to me. No, hold on to me. I'll get mine out as well. Play who's got the most. No, we won't do that. Okay. Something you'll notice about your credit cards, or your debit cards, or your driving licence, but not your cooperative card, all the other cards, the driving licence even, God. You'll notice that the name's in capital uppercase, capital letters. Has anyone got a credit card or a debit card where their name is in title case? That's the first letter capitalised and the rest lowercase. Sorry? It's not with me. It's not with you. Are you sure? Yeah. Right, I'd like to see that one. You'll tend to find that everything, your utility bills, any bills from corporations, banks, credit cards, will have your name in capital letters. Your name in capital letters isn't you. That's your token to play the game. Okay? Right. So, now, if you look in Black's Law Dictionary, and this is about as serious as we go into commercial law. However, you've got to understand this. Black's Law Dictionary, revised 1968, cited as legal authority in many Supreme Court cases. It's a definition as follows: for capitis I never did that in school. I went to grammar school, unfortunately. Capitis diminutio, meaning the diminution of status through the use of capitalisation in Roman law. And our law basically comes from Greco-Roman. A diminishing or abridgment of personality, a loss or curtailment of a man's status, or aggregate of legal attributes and qualifications. To carry on, capitis diminutio maxima, which is your name all in uppercase, meaning a maximum loss of status through the use of capitalisation. It's quite interesting. It's not because they haven't got the fonts to make the credit card machines. It actually means something in law, despite most barristers being unaware of this. So, in full, your name in full capitals is the highest or most comprehensive loss of status. This occurs when a man's condition was changed from one of freedom to one of bondage. When he became a slave, it swept away all rights of citizenship and family rights. That is your name in capital letters. However, it is only a token to play the global commerce game. And it is a game, so it's just like that's your little ship, or your shoe, or your boat, whatever. It's not real, it's just a game. And we'll be and I'll explain how to actually get over that. Sorry? That's from Black's Law Dictionary, that quote is, yeah. It's also known as the straw man. It's a government-created legal fiction. Okay, there's a number of ways. It's also referred to as an artificial person as opposed to a natural person. Depending which law books you look at, they've got different versions. But it actually something different from the actual living, breathing you. Okay. The currency used is just totally worthless paper. The actual paper and the coins is a very, very small fraction of our currency. Most of it is created on computers as necessary. It doesn't actually exist until you actually get a new credit card. And then they create that money as and when is needed on a computer screen. At one time, a pound meant a pound of silver in the UK. That's why we have sterling. I've got Alistair to thank for that, because I thought it was based on gold, but in this country it was based on silver. So now, do you think how much silver, you wouldn't get a pound of silver for £1 coin, would you? You'd be lucky to get any. Originally, a pound, as in a pound note, was your receipt for a pound of sterling silver in weight. Yes, yes. So that's a lot of silver. So it's obviously worth an awful lot less now. Just got a little interview. This is Aaron Russo, who unfortunately died last year. He's a Hollywood producer. He actually directed the film Freedom to Fascism. And he's interviewing a guy called Ron Paul. Ron Paul is a presidential candidate who is still in the running for presidential, for the 2008 American presidency. He spent 10 years as a congressman and working on basically economics forums, so he knows a little bit about the Federal Reserve. Now, I know we're looking at the Federal Reserve here. It's exactly the same as the Bank of England.
So the Federal Reserve is actually an illegal entity functioning within government.
It's illegal, and what we have given to this so-called agency is the authority to counterfeit money.
Do you have any points of view about the Federal Reserve and how the Federal Reserve operates?
They just enter something on a computer. Oh, you need 20 billion today. Here's 20 billion, but they got that out of thin air. It came out of thin air, it goes to the Treasury then pays the bills.
So it's no different than monopoly money.
All countries who have ever attempted to create money on thin air, the currency is eventually destroyed.
Why did we give a monopoly of creating money out of thin air to a private corporation? The result is exactly the same as if someone were picking your pocket every year, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Originally, paper was a receipt which is used as evidence that the government has disconnected the paper from the actual tangible substance, which is money. So now we have a piece of paper which is evidence of nothing.
Greenspan and the other central bankers want you to believe that the receipt, the paper, is the real money. This is nothing more than sleight of hand. It's a magician's trick. Because for them to maintain control over the government and the people, they have to convince you that this paper is really money. Because that is the essence of their power and our powerlessness to maintain control over our own government.
Wake up, you idiots. Whatever made you think paper was so valuable? Because in 1913, a group of politicians who were actually paid for by the bankers actually took over the US Treasury effectively and created the Federal Reserve totally illegally. With the Bank of England, it's far more difficult to actually follow its history. It was supposed to have been nationalised, but it's still owned by private bankers in the City of London. If you look at the chairman, if you look at all the chairs of the Bank